T-Rex, I've got a lot on my mind this morning. I need peace and quiet, all right? Just stay peaceful and quiet, okay? Just easy going. Easy. I'm kidding. We love it. The weather is peaceful right here on the Fore River in North Weymouth, Massachusetts. But we are surrounded by the apocalypse. Smoke apocalypse happening right now from Quebec through New York to especially New York City. Talking to my friends in New York City, Ray and friends, saying it smells like there's a campfire 20 yards away, when in fact it's actually about 500 miles away. How did all this happen? Some great Twitter feeds out there showing how the fires were ignited with that front 1 week ago today. June 1st, extraordinary lightning storm came across Quebec. Very cold, dry, high-pressure system over Hudson Bay. And it has been dry in Quebec, and those lightnings started all those fires at the same time. The next day, here on Friday, a week ago tomorrow, we had the lightning storms here in New England. But it's been a lot wetter here, and we had a lot of fires started, but our fires weren't in the middle of the forests. The Spencer Church burned. That was horrible, but we had fire departments who were able to put the fires out right away. And in some cases, we had inches of rain. So those fires continue to burn. My fire map didn't really load this morning, but the smoke trajectory map did. And you can see the worst of the smoke now still coming through. It looks like Washington, D.C., and then it heads east and north. Nantucket has some of the thickest smoke in New England this morning. And that smoke plume is aimed at the coast of Maine this afternoon. So the smoke's coming all the way around that upper level low that has now been stalled here since last weekend. How many of these upper level lows have we had? I'm really appreciating the interactions on YouTube, and somebody in eastern Pennsylvania, Stefan, yesterday says, yeah, the farther the smoke travels, the higher it gets in the sky. And yeah, it's true, I think. And the smoke takes 600 miles to get to you, and then it takes a right and takes another 300 miles to get to me. So that's why I've been less impacted. We had some record low temperatures this morning. All right, pause the weather here. T-Rex, if you turned around, you would notice there's a little furry bunny right down there. Lots of bunnies right now. So I guess that means we don't have too many fox or coyotes around here. So the smoke is an issue. Now, last night, just south of the cloud that stalled here in the Northeast, you can see all the smoke in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In that same area where the smoke is and just south of the cloud, we had radiational cooling last night and dozens of record low temperatures. So part of the problem here is the anomalous cold pool aloft and the shape of the steering currents. Most often this time of year, if you have fires burning in Canada, that smoke would move to the east and north, and we wouldn't even be knowing much about it. So it's all related, the perfect storm of smoke. And the anomalous cold has generated now more than 6 inches of snow on Mount Washington, making this tied with the first week of June 1964 for the snowiest first week of June in our life on top of Mount Washington at 6.1 inches. And I think we're passing 6.1 inches because it's still snowing a little bit on the mountain with very light wind now. Oh, don't get me going on the wind. Yesterday was kind of frustrating. I thought the wind was going to let up. And from the west, it just kept coming and coming in the Enmore part. And I've got a special sailing edition for you, Kevin. Can I see your boat? Where's your boat? Oh, would you leave it on the dock last night? So after the race, you went to the dock at Wessagusset. All right, that's cool. That's cool. I know what happens after sailboat races sometimes. That's cool. I'm going to probably crash that next week. Very low tide right now. incoming tide, and not much change to the forecast except for this lack of wind. Where's the low? What is wind? Air moving from high to low pressure. Not too much high pressure around, so where are the lows? In the Gulf of Maine. Right, yeah. And then south of New England tomorrow morning. Right. Oh, and then right over Albany, New York tomorrow afternoon. Right, right. It's not like this low is moving around. It's just like new ones kind of keep popping up, and they're weaker and weaker lows. But the air up in the sky is still very cold, and the air down near the ground is relatively mild, near 60 degrees around Boston. So there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere. So this is really old, smoky, cloudy weather that's circulating around and around this upper level low that seems like it just does not want to give. Finally there, Saturday night and Sunday, we get a little ridging in here. So Sunday looks like the pick of the next several days. And then another upper level low over us early next week. This thing has been kind of all over the place. So now it's kind of a little further south than it was yesterday, nowhere near as far south and as wet as it would have been Monday. And so now that looks like the heavier rain that could come our way. After showers each afternoon here. All right, let's start with the NAM. Here's today, tonight. Oh, it looks like a little almost squall line. It's not going to be a squall with this wind, but a heavier downpour coming right through Boston at sunset. And then tomorrow, still some scattered showers. And then Saturday, still some scattered showers. Just amazing how this will be like 8, 9, 10 days in a row. 5th and 6th day in a row with snow on Mount Washington. But it's going to get warmer aloft over the weekend and then colder aloft again early next week with a batch of rain coming through here. It looks like Monday night into early Tuesday. This weekend is the New England Longboard Classic Surf Contest on Sunday. Here's what Swell Info is advising us to do. Not going fishing, we're going surfing. Even if we just have to sit on our surfboards or paddle around, we're going. It's going to be a beautiful beach day. Sunshine on Sunday. And a light onshore breeze, so probably about 70 degrees or so, and maybe glassy water. We'll have fun. Dave Foley Band afterwards. It's at the Paragon Gardens this year, back to where the old Paragon Park was, the after party. All right, so I've talked at length here. What else? Peace doing fine. Nothing in the rain gauge for me yesterday, but hoping for a little something today. So I did some hand watering. And so the rest of this is just a little bit on yesterday and waiting for the wind to die down and see how fast Kevin and his crew and Tempo got out to Hull yesterday evening. I'm sure I forgot some stuff, so much going on. Talk to you later. No smoke in Boston anyway, but no sunshine either. Mayflowers are fading, but it's pretty cold, especially if you just got a fresh haircut. Steve, how's that hairdo treating you? Well, you could have waited until it warmed up. Yeah, had to happen. It'll look great in a month, don't you worry. It was just really matted, natty. It was a natty. Steve, you gonna forgive us? Still thinks he's a cow. From here up, from the neck up, you still look like a big cat.
It's got to be something. He's way down too.
Who's that? Firewood. Oh, is that an eagle? Come this way, will you? Turkey vulture. Okay, so much for the doldrums for the race. Still northwest at 10. I think we almost had a reverse sea breeze effect. Instead of the sun coming out, blew that forecast, stayed cloudy inland and it's very cold air. So I think we had colder air in the hills of Worcester than is the water temperature in near 60. So a reverse sea breeze. It was a land breeze with the warmer air rising over the ocean and the cooler air sinking over the land. So my apologies to anybody took my forecast advice, but I'm sure it's a pleasant surprise for you. Surprise? The weatherman was wrong? That's not a surprise. You think we expect you to be right? No, we just want you to talk about the race. You go, Tempo. Look at you go. Wow, that's without sail. Seriously though, the barometer didn't really change much today. I didn't think there was enough of a gradient, but we're calling the play-by-play this week. Thankfully, we don't have the smoke situation here. What a terrible situation in New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. It takes a longer route when that smoke goes from Quebec down to near Philadelphia and then east to Nantucket. So that is a longer circuit. People saying that, well, you're just as far from the smoke as me. Yes, I am, but it's taking a longer road to get to my house, so that makes us a little more fortunate. 6 p.m. straight up. When's the race start? 6:30? Let's get a new favorite spot, perched on that, what used to be the center of Tom's dining room table. Now Steve and I stand there watching the osprey. I know an osprey. Could have been what I saw today, I guess. Do it. It's very rare though to have seen one catch something. So that'd be a nice treat. He had eyed something. Yeah, I think the bird I saw earlier was bigger than that. Go, go, go. I mean, he's got to be about 200 yards up in the sky, just looking down. Better focus than my phone, huh? Real camera? That's for amateurs. Oh, there goes an egret right by him. Can't make that stuff up. Thank you, Mr. Egret. Photo bomb by an egret. And the sparrow's jealous. I still love you. Looks like they're lining up at the starting line. You just have to take my word for it. Can't see it from here. But it should be the funnest night so far this year. First 2 weeks were postponed. One was too windy, one was too thundery, and then last week was just right with the weather, but maybe not the wind. But this is probably the best wind of the season so far. Watching you guys in binoculars looks really exciting. Good breeze coming around that last green channel tower. Move from heading south to heading east, and it looks like you really pick up that west wind. Northwest wind is doing great, huh? Very exciting watching colorful sails. Red, white, blue, black, yellow. I knew the sun would come out today. Thought it'd be before 8 o'clock. Well, it is before 8 o'clock. It's about 7:53. Fascinating day. Very unstable atmosphere. Moisture coming in from the North Atlantic all the way around. Would have been a great J cloud in the winter. It's a Mount Washington cloud though. It's been snowing up there pretty good, huh? Is that Team Tempo coming in hot? Kevin, is that you? What's going on now? You going ashore? Last I knew, you guys couldn't do stuff like that with keels. Where are you going?